What?
See, just because you're so young, you wouldn't understand the value of this.
I just know it as
I
being the
experienced it. Life
first.
experience.
It's the first music video ever played on MTV
And it's also the
MTV played music videos?
back in the day. Before
Wait, it's not just Snooki and JWoww?
no, before the glory of reality
first. I
television.
feel like this is exactly what this is going to do to me.
Hold on. Can I let you know something really important about your current assistant coach and former player, Dom Marzano? Guy loves some Jersey Shore.
I love it.
Never seen it.
Loves the Jersey Shore.
I fist pumped through my 20s.
Breaking news, Dom Marzano no longer in his 20s.
It kind of sucks.
Well, I just figured since we're going to be recording that this would be appropriate song. Video killed the radio star because I have a face for radio. And this might have just ruined my career, just making this a live broadcast.
Well, the Nuts and Bolts has been going strong for a few months now, all season really, a little bit before the season. Figured why not try something new? It's the off season. We'll shed a tear about that in a minute. But why not throw it up on YouTube and, see what kind of reaction people get to, as Bear, you said it, our radio faces.
Well, maybe there'll be a huge cry out to go back to radio.
Listen, good, bad, or indifferent, we're just looking for a reaction.
I mean, Mikey B already knows what I look like. So, I mean,
I don't think Mikey B has ever seen me, though.
it's true. This is like the unveiling.
This could be big for our Twitter
Nut.
relationship.
Now everyone knows what Nut looks like.
Oh, Gearbox.
Oh, Gearbox.
Well, now that you can see us, let's welcome everyone in. Thank you for tuning in to the Nuts and Bolts Show. I'm your host, Noah Sharfman, joined by the wonderful Bear Davis, Vice President and Head Coach of the Ohio Machine, and making a no longer non-routine routine appearance, Assistant Coach of the Ohio Machine, Head Coach of the Wilmington Quakers, best hair in the Midwest.
And now everyone can see that.
Oh my gosh, now they can see that. Look at that hair on Dom Marzano.
Thanks, guys.
Really,
Man
we
of
talk
many
about
words, but better hair.
we talk about how Bear, you and I might have the face for radio, but Dom has the hair for the internet TV.
No doubt in my mind. I mean, right now he may be moving over one chair here in the future. People are going to cry out for better hair.
I think we should just zoom in on the hair.
I don't think you should. I think it's all right. I appreciate it, though.
Walk us through your morning routine. Like, what does it take for the hair to become what it currently is?
I would, there's no secret to it. I'm just blessed.
Wow.
You know what?
Next
I
level.
actually was hoping he would say that. I can confirm that. So on the road, in the league, we all bunk up. You and Coach Mariano,
Roomies.
Kyle Harrison, Pete Baum, roomies. Big Rig, Stephen Waldeck, crushing some mattress push-ups or something. Roomies. And then you got Noah and Dom, roomies. And let me tell you, those 4 a.m. bus rides to the airport, you wake up at 3:30 and that hair is
At some point.
perfect.
On point. I think it's because he gets up at 3. He does his hair, gets back in bed.
Surprise.
Oh, 2 years.
And then you woke up and he was like, this
I
is how it
got a
does.
couple tricks.
I can't even hate the dedication there. That's amazing. Now that we've talked a lot about Dom's hair, which it rightfully deserves, let's get into a little bit of Major League Lacrosse action from this last weekend. Luckily for us, there was just a little bit of it with one game, championship game down at Kennesaw State University just outside of Atlanta. New York Lizards, Rochester Rattlers. If you're just tuning into lacrosse, give us a little preview of what people could expect in that game. And then we'll get to the final score. Yeah, the game already happened. I got it.
I think that you had a great matchup, really. I mean, New York obviously has so much firepower. They have arguably best player at each position, and with the position awards coming out, they took home a lot of hardware there. And then you have Rochester, who kind of played a little, I think a sneaky role in the league all year. I mean, they quietly moved their way through. But if you look at it, they played pretty consistent all year. Probably just don't have the headliner names per se. Then they lost their top defenseman about mid-year. So that
I'm going to stop you right here about Rochester. Do they have the deepest talent at pole of any team in the league. When you talk about Mike Manley going out, they still have Joel White, John Lacasio. I mean, John Lade played every game the last 2 seasons, I think. Are they the deepest team at pole?
I think if they're not the deepest, they're certainly one of the most consistent. You know, I think those guys are all very good. They play pretty good every week. You know, like they're you know what you're going to get out of that group, and then you got a tremendous goalie. You know, in Galloway. Just I mean, he stands on his head to make saves at times. So. Great matchup. I think it was, the face-off wise, Rochester had made a move to go with Poppleton, and he did well for him. He had a good year, split in time at Florida and became, a reserve for Rochester and moved his way into a championship game as a starter. It's pretty impressive.
In that championship game, he did pretty well in the first quarter. Rochester got off to kind of a hot start. Real close game at halftime. I think it was a 1-goal game at halftime. You end up going in 11-11 after the third quarter into the fourth. We played close games with both teams. New York, it was closer at times. Both teams had runs. New York had their run in their first matchup of the season. We had our run second to last game of the season against them. What do you think came down to that last quarter that pushed New York ahead of Rochester and crowned the Lizards as champions?
Well, with New York, a lot of it is they're so used to having possessions. When you have a face-off guy, like a beast, and he's as good as he's not as good as it gets. He is the best, and he gets the ball. Gets the ball to the team. And I think in the first quarter, maybe because Rochester was getting those extra possessions, they were able to put a couple of points on the board and. That once they were handling face-offs a little bit differently, definitely changed the rhythm, for the Lizards, and they were able to. I think also just we necessarily didn't exploit it as much, but the 4 poles, Rochester only runs 4 poles. Their short stick D middies, arguably some of the best in the league. Probably one of the most underrated units in the league.
I know Dominique Alexander for us probably watched that game and saw Rochester's Donnie Moss pick up a long pole every once in a while. And I can bet you Neek was probably texting one of the two of you saying, you see, we should only run 4 poles so he could get a long pole.
Well, Donnie Moss has experience with the long pole. And I think that's why they're so confident in going into games with 4 poles, because they do have that ability to have Moss play more of a utility role, and that's great if you got a guy like that. I mean, we have Jake Bernhardt who can face off. He can play. He's played man up for us. He's played man down. He's taken man down face offs. I mean, those guys are find themselves on invaluable position, on a roster.
So this was the second game in 2 years in Atlanta, and not to let the cat out of the bag. It's already been announced. There will be more games in Atlanta as the league expanded to 9 teams, welcoming the Atlanta Blaze. What's expansion mean for the league right now?
Gearbox?
I mean, I think it's a very positive sign that when you can add a team to a league that's kind of growing, I think it's huge for us. It's huge for lacrosse, and they've done their homework. They've done their research down there, and it's growing. Even as a college recruiter, you can tell there's a lot of lacrosse to be played down there. They have some summer tournaments and stuff you can go to now, and then they have LB3 down there, Lean-based club team who's really just kind of made his mark down there in the South. But I think you add a team in any league, it's big time. So I think it's only going to go up from here. So I'm excited to add another team, and hopefully we can get a couple more here in the next few years.
How excited are you to play in front of those fans down there? Past 2 championship games have been down there, and they've been pretty much sellout crowds. I mean, we're talking 8,000 plus attendance. What kind of atmosphere does that get when the stadium's so small but they can pack it?
There's no question that the venue and it helps the excitement of the fans, and if you have a venue like that, I mean, it's awesome for us to go out and play in some of the venues that we get the opportunity to, as far as we're in Mile High Stadium, we're in Gillette this year, and an incredible atmosphere and facilities, obviously, but when you're talking like 60,000 or plus whatever seat stadium, and you have a good attendance for an ML game, we have a 6,000-7,000 attendance at one of those games. But when you get 6,000-7,000 people how much is Kennesaw hold?
I think it's just over 8.
Yeah, I mean, you get that many people in that. I mean, that's a packed house, and we see it at Selby all the time where we have about just over 9,000 seat venue, and you get 5,000-6,000 people in there. It's pretty cool experience, and but there's always pros and cons to everything. Like I said, there's nothing better than walking into an NFL stadium and being able to play on such a surface like that. And most of the teams in our league all have uniquely pretty cool places to play.
I think having done this 2 years in a row now, there's something cool about going to each city we go to. Be it the venue, the hotels, the travel itself, the barbecue restaurants. I mean, there's something on every trip that I think we can get excited for, and I think that going down to Kennesaw and playing there, like Atlanta becomes another destination that I'm excited to go to next year.
Oh, no question. And in the venue, if nothing else, think about Boston, for instance. The venue does dictate the fan base a little bit. I mean, you take we played at, when we played at Harvard, they had their fans were right on our back, and you had the Cannonball Busters. I mean, there's not a better group in the MLL as far as like razzing the other team.
The other team players and coaches, right? Coach
Referees.
Marzano?
They asked me if I was an athletic trainer that was lost.
I mean,
amongst other things.
Possibly one of the best fan groups. Move to Gillette, no more Cannonball Busters.
It's kind of far to yell from an NFL seat all the way to the sideline, isn't it?
I'm just saying, venue can dictate your fan base a little bit.
What's good and bad, yeah?
Yeah, no. I mean, I look forward to the Cannonball Busters. I thought they were great. But, so I kind of miss those guys.
Well, you're welcome at Selby whenever you guys want to come out.
They can come on out and become we can figure out some name for them.
Gearheads.
Yeah, the Gearheads. Absolutely.
Or the Splash Zone.
Making fun of the other team, though, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's fine then.
No,
Yeah, come out. That's fine. Okay. Just do whatever, sure.
Had a little tough moment there, Coach.
I was like, wait a second. Wait a second.
I think Coach is still a little,
rattled.
A little scarred from that experience.
Not scarred, more or less. It was very distracting because I was laughing at it and still getting yelled at. One of the greatest moment of my life. Oh, well, it's over.
Well, we made it to overtime that game.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
So
with the offseason.
But we're looking forward to going down and facing the Blaze. I think it will be an interesting new venue. We're going to have to figure out the nice eating hot spots as we have in most cities. I don't know. What do you eat in Atlanta?
We're probably not going to have any Pepsi products, considering Coke is in Atlanta. We're a Coke league. Like, I imagine a lot of, like, Diet Coke, regular Coke, Coke Zero. Like,
that's all that's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So we're getting no food. We're just drinking Cokes.
Is that what we're going to do? This sounds terrible.
I don't know.
Already.
I know of
I'm
some
not
places.
going.
There's the Varsity Drive-In. They do, like, hot dogs, hamburgers.
I'm just saying there's got to be if there's anybody that watches show from Atlanta, they need to
call in, comment below, hit us up on Twitter.
This is what you need to eat when you're in town, because I have no idea.
We like barbecue and chicken parm, not necessarily together.
No, but
we do like both those things.
It is a favorite, yes.
And possibly any really good sandwich shop for lunch before the game. With the Blaze coming in and our search for the best food in Atlanta, that brings us to an off season that we haven't had in about 4 years. What does expansion do for the off season, and how is our staff getting ready for it?
Well, there most likely will be an expansion draft, because you have to do that to help field this new team. That means you're going to have players that are unprotected, and they'll go into that expansion draft, and you'll have a certain level of players that you can protect. The number that we're hearing is 13.
It's a nice number. It was 12 last time.
Could be 12, could be 13. I don't know. We haven't got the word yet.
Could be 6.
Could be 6. Could be wide open, But, if it works anything like it did last time, it should be, you're allowed to protect about half your roster, somewhere in that. The other half will go unprotected, and the Atlanta team will have the opportunity to go through the draft and pick either trade their pick. They can trade their pick, or they can pick up a player that was left unprotected. And the way it worked last time is if you have X amount of guys, taken off your roster, I believe the number was 4. You have to remember it was before I was here. So I don't really technically know, but the way I read it was if they chose 4 players, for every 4 players that were chosen off your roster, you were allowed to pull 1 off the board.
Correct. I believe that's what I read as well.
Yes.
I also think I sent you what I read.
So we're on the same page.
So before we get to trivia, you brought up the 2012 expansion draft when Ohio and Charlotte came in. Trivia for you. There's 1 player from the expansion draft left on the Machine roster. Name him.
B. Phipps.
Chips.
Yeah, Chips. Yeah, there was no Chesapeake elected to save no goalies.
I believe Matt Caffarelli.
Caff has been on and off. Caff's a practice squad guy.
Just saying. It's my guy.
Well, he's not just a practice squad
He's
guy.
not just a practice squad guy.
I actually, in trivia this week, I have a tribute to Matt Caffarelli.
Fantastic. Caff has played in a game for us, I believe, in 2012.
Nope. 13.
13. Wow.
He played against the Bayhawks, who left Phipps unprotected.
Yes.
Well,
they also traded with us to select Kip Turner, I believe. And then won 2 championships.
With 8 teams, there's so many intertwined
many
storylines.
We traded the first pick of the 2012 expansion draft, I believe, to Rochester.
Well, you have the
who was once the Machine.
Right. We've been down.
Go figure. So, before we get to trivia, I can see you're antsing for it.
We're already at trivia?
No, we're almost. I said before we get to trivia.
Jeez.
Whoa. We know your offense is like putting the foot to the pedal. I mean.
Hey, Mike stands here. Just saying.
Want to talk about something that was announced this week that's pretty close to your heart, Bear. Talk a little bit about the 2nd annual Ohio Machine Midwest Coaches Convention.
Well, it's been one of those things that we've been working on since last year, since we did it. It was kind of cool. We said let's try to reach out. Our goal was somewhere around 50 coaches.
50 was the first initial goal.
Yeah, and then we ended up with 175 coaches.
Wow.
From 5 different states. I mean, it was really cool to see coaches from West Virginia come in. We had coaches from, a lot of coaches from Indiana and Michigan and just all over, Kentucky.
Do we have a Pennsylvania?
I think we had a Pennsylvania. We had.
I think we were at 6 states.
States.
Because you got to count Ohio too.
Right.
We had a lot of those people.
Well, it just grew. It grew into being this beast. We had 6 on-field demos. We had 6 lectures. So we decided to expand it, and we moved the event to North Point Nationwide Convention Center, which is going to allow us to have more speakers, more festivities, more lacrosse. And we reached out to a more diverse group of the lacrosse community. We have the women's game coming in this year.
That's big. Last year was only the boys and men's game, correct?
Yeah. So we're diving in, helping out the women's side of things, and then also I think more importantly, and something you don't see a lot at any clinic, is referees. A lot of people, especially coaches, like to complain about them, but we do very little to help train and educate and promote and recruit. And so we've been working with the regional referees towards having a day where we can, have a training day, have, build in recruiting, trying to get more, people involved in the refereeing. And so it's one of those, be a part of the solution, not the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. We also, there's one piece in the morning that the high school leadership part of it, where we have a couple of our players coming in, Kyle and Harrison and Scotty Rogers, coming in and talk to these high school players about just being good leaders and teammates. So we've been asking high school coaches to have their players out, their seniors, their leaders, kind of in there to get a little leadership talk from everybody. And, part of that will be social media relations with Noah and just how to properly do it. And those guys can talk about it as well, because if you're well aware, like, our guys are great on social media as far as pumping up the machine or their own brand or whatever their cause may be. So we're going to do that piece. I'm pretty excited about that leadership part. I think it's something cool. But like you said, I don't want the refs, the on-field demos, the leadership piece. It's turning, more and more into a convention 100%. Then last year was more clinic based. This year's it's a one-stop shop, and I think it's well pieced together, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Well, we also have like some great sponsors. Some of our last year, we felt like we needed to bring in sponsors that were added value to the people that were coming to the clinic. And one of the relationships that we established was with Crossover, and just got a chance to meet some of the people over at Crossover, and their product is, I think, is invaluable. I mean, like, especially a guy like me who has a family. You want to spend time with your kids, and editing film.
Why don't we ask Dom how valuable it was this year?
Right.
How many
Crossover's the
minutes,
greatest thing on the planet.
Coach? How many minutes of film did you cut in 2014?
Minutes? More like weeks. It'd be more of a week thing.
So you cut every game of ours, right?
Every game,
and you cut all of our opponents.
Correct.
And this year,
last year thing.
This season, how many games did you cut?
I cut 2 that were scouts that, we also had a couple of interns working with me to cut it up on Right Play as well. But Crossover came in, did every one of our games where they was scouted, laid out for you. And what Coach is really big on is the statistical and the analytics part of it. They do it for you. It's wild how much they break down. And I know Coach got a lot of tendencies off of that. So their work with us was saved me hours upon time, and it was done right, it was done correctly, and it got Coach the information he needed.
Now, I appreciate you guys including me on the Crossover emails as coaches. So I would find out when our games were cut. And there were probably 3 or 4 times we hadn't even landed in Columbus that we got the email that our game was cut, indexed, and ready to go.
It was crazy.
So I think that's pretty cool.
It's a big help.
I mean, not being a coach, I just like being like part of the group. So thanks, Crossover, for keeping me as part of the group.
That was a mistake. I didn't know how to take you off.
Jeez, yeah, right.
Yeah, I said that about.
I couldn't. I don't know how. I'm still learning on deleting coaches.
I mean, that was just one of our sponsors. I mean, we had a couple other people that dove in there, and I just think for the coaches that come, they get to learn about these products, whether or not you use them or not. At least you're aware that they exist.
Aries Sportswear was big. They did our Oil Up shirts year 1, our Sheen shirts year 2. They can really help with those fundraising packs for local high schools and youth teams. And they were involved pretty big. Warrior helped out as much as they could. STX helped out as much as they could. And we're looking to, build on that and make it.
Ohio State Medical came in. They talked about,
Yep.
They gave a great lecture on concussions, and it's such a hot topic now. And for coaches not to be aware of, signs and the procedures. And we just felt like that was a very important piece to add to the day. And their staff did a tremendous job of educating our coaches, on signs to look for, questions to ask, and, just some stuff that should become routine for us, at a point, where it's just not right yet because it's still a new topic.
So more information about the 2015 Ohio Machine Midwest Coaches Clinic is available at theohiomachine.com/coaches convention. And now, Bear, I know you're excited to get trivia going. I want to thank the wonderful sponsors that make this show happen. Big thanks to 1808 American Bistro, C12 Lacrosse, CG's Auto Body, Chubby's Sports Bar and Grill, Midwest Lacrosse, Stoss Brewing, Yabo's Tacos, the Lacrosse Video Game, and of course, the Lacrosse Show with Coach Billy Taylor and Sean Ryan. Now, Bear.
Trivia?
You've been telling me about trivia for a couple days now. What do you got?
I'm pretty excited, but I thought you told me that we were going to have the interns. But I guess it's just Gearbox.
We have interns.
Do I just shout these out to these guys and they get a chance to answer?
I mean, we have Mark here and Garrett, Elizabeth, and Jackie. I mean, they can all jump in and see if we get answers here. I mean, or you can ask me and Dom. I mean,
I listen. These are
surveys.
This could be a survey.
Little survey monkey here.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Right. Okay. So here we go. You guys.
Interns are welcome to yell.
But we do have interns.
There are interns.
Actually,
they're real people. Well, we took time away from work in the middle of the day. They're here making sure that the office is running and actual work's getting done.
Exactly.
Love it.
But we'll let them jump in.
Do all your work for you.
All right. Which is older, Kyle Harrison or Miss Pac-Man?
I can tell you right now, one person just took major offense to this question. Kyle Harrison.
If he watched, I would.
We will find out if he did.
We will find out.
Miss Pac-Man. Do you guys even know what Pac-Man is? Oh dear, not Jackie. Okay.
Jackie's like, what is this Pac-Man thing you speak of?
All right. No, I actually think I could talk my way into the answer of this question. Did Miss Pac-Man come out after Pac-Man? I'm going to go with yes, it did.
So
Pac-Man was first.
I'm saying that Kyle is older than Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. What are you saying?
Maybe.
I know Kyle's birthday. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to go with Miss Pac-Man is younger than Kyle Harrison.
Younger?
Yeah.
Miss Pac-Man.
You just said it.
Yes.
Same Z's, just
Same
different.
Same thing over there. Anybody else want to chime in over there? Peanut Gallery?
I think Harrison is older.
Older.
Harrison's older. You guys are all wrong.
You see, Kyle, I think you're young.
You're younger than Mrs. Pac-Man, Kyle. So Kyle was born on March 12th, 1983.
And now people can
There
create
it
identity
is.
theft.
100%. In case anyone wants to say happy birthday to Kyle.
We didn't have to say the year.
Oh, yeah, you did because Miss Pac-Man was born in January of 82.
Born? That's a strong word. For a
Born to
game.
the North American.
All right. I didn't like that question. What's next?
It's a good question. No,
He
I just
didn't get it right.
He
Oh,
got
for
it
one.
right.
He got it wrong. He got it wrong. You guys all got it wrong. All right, which holiday? You can't answer these because you book flights. You know everyone's birthday.
Which holiday?
Which holiday was Brian Phipps born on? Was it Halloween, Christmas, or Thanksgiving?
Quick story about Brian Phipps' birthday. You can enter it wrong for an entire season, and he won't miss a flight.
That happened.
It did.
think I'm saying Thanksgiving. I think he looks like a November birthday.
Yeah.
Interns?
Sounds right.
Interns?
Jackie too.
Thanksgiving is the one that can jump, so I feel like that's the harder one to answer. But yeah.
Oh, I see. What you
Ooh,
did there.
solid.
Oh, so it's either. Okay.
That's why, I mean,
That wasn't my reasoning. I was just like, he looks like a November guy.
Halloween, Christmas, or Thanksgiving?
Halloween.
Halloween? We got one. Elizabeth says, all right.
I will tell you that Brian Phipps' birthday is not November 27th, 1987.
It is November 26th.
Correct.
Ah, all right. So,
And
everybody, well done.
he was born on Thanksgiving.
Very cool.
Very cool. All right. So, okay, which happened first? This is my one tribute to the NWA film that's coming out
Straight out of Compton.
Friday.
or Thursday at 8, but keep going.
Well, whatever. I won't be able to see it on Thursday, so it's coming out on Friday to me. All right, so it's all about me, Tom. All right, what happened first? Ice Cube left the group, NWA, or Dana Wilbur's birthday?
I can give you Dana Wilbur's birthday.
Noah, this was when you told me that we were. You're being nut right now.
I think that Dana's birthday happened first. Dana is older than when Ice Cube left NWA.
Okay.
I think Ice Cube left.
I think Dana was born before Ice Cube left.
Yeah, Dana's born before that.
Anybody else?
Gotta be. Come on.
Mark.
I have no idea how old Dana Wilbur is.
Dana Wilbur was born on July 28th, 1990.
Close. It's so weird how
Y'all
close
are
you are.
wrong.
He was Dana Wilbur was born July 21st, 1990. Ice Cube left the group NWA in December of 1989.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
really?
So Ice Cube was gone.
You guys are right. I apologize.
when Dana was born.
Interns are 1-0. Noah and Dom, not so much.
All right. Which
Googling it.
which is a higher number? Which is a higher number?
Oh, no.
BK's weight in pounds, or
I'm glad it wasn't like kilos.
well, I'm
BK could
specified.
answer that, though. That's the problem.
Smartest guy alive.
Right. Or the amount of takeaways caused turnovers he had in college. Which is a higher number?
He had more caused turnovers in 4 years of college than he did at what he weighs.
So, Neek played against OSU played Nova Dominique's freshman year.
Yeah.
Nick probably had 5.
He had
Neek
like 8
lost the
against
ball
Neek.
5.
He had like 8 caused turnovers against
Neek
Neek.
started that game at midfield, and BK was matched up against him. And I think before the second quarter happened, Neek runs over to the sideline and was like, "Can someone get this BK guy off me?"
Off me.
He gave the ball away like 6-7 times.
Yeah.
I would
And not
say
giveaway, like BK just.
So
took
what's
it
your
from
answer?
him. Higher.
high. He's
You
got
think
like-
he has more caused turnovers than his weight?
He
in college?
is less heavy than his caused turnovers are numerous.
Which one's
You can't just say higher.
Because then you're right on both
Yeah,
accounts.
such an intern move.
I see what you did there.
More takeaways in his weight.
More
takeaways.
takeaways.
and
More
his weight.
takeaways.
More weight.
More weight. We got what? He just did the prices right. $1. $1.
He's always thinking.
BK weighs 185 pounds.
He had 153 takeaways.
153 takeaways.
I would argue that BK's weight is not accurate.
Is that this? Is that this year's like physical?
Yeah.
No, it's probably his weight as it related to either the New York Lizards roster or the Villanova
even
roster.
if he was 20 pounds less,
You're right.
even if he weighed 165, he still had 153.
Man, these
touches.
questions are hard today.
Man, and 140 against people not named Dominique Alexander.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Which came out first? Matt
The chicken.
Caffarelli
Big
or E.T.?
Do you know when E.T. came out?
Which was first?
E.T. was like
The birth of Matt Caffarelli or E.T.?
the birth of Matt Caffarelli. Big Calf was is older than the movie E.T.
I agree.
Got to be right because I was like a little guy. I was born in '83. E.T. phone home like I was like 4 or 5 probably. Caffarelli's older than me.
Is this way
Not by
before you
much,
guys?
though.
Our interns are
Not
so
much.
young. They have no idea. They're
No.
like, E.T.,
They're
what
like,
is
what
this
is
E.T. thing you speak of?
You go with E.T. I'll go with E.T.
I don't even know.
You think
Oh
you
my
guys don't know what E.T. is?
Yeah, it's a ride at Universal Studios, right?
Okay, so Matt Caffarelli was born September 24th of 1981, and E.T. came out in June of 82.
Okay.
We got
Close
one.
enough.
Calf is
one. We got
older
one.
than E.T.
I was wrong when it came out.
And you know who Matt Caffarelli shares a birthday with?
What was his birthday again?
September 24th.
September 24th.
Only because you told
Brian Karolounis.
Nah, not on our team. Jim Henson.
When's BK's birthday? September 23rd.
I don't.
Jim Henson. Is that the guy? Garfield?
The Muppets?
Muppets?
Yeah,
Who is
Muppets.
it? Muppets?
Yeah,
I didn't watch cartoon.
wasn't a cartoon.
All right, you got one more
So,
for us?
I mean, it's puppets. I mean, it's close enough.
I got a couple, but here you go. Scotty Rogers played at Notre Dame.
He did.
And Notre Dame is obviously affiliated with Ireland, which uses kilograms, the metric system. If Scotty Rogers weighs 265 pounds, what does he weigh in kilograms?
What? More. Next question, please.
Anybody?
Where's BK when you need him?
125? Anybody else? Numbers? How many kilograms does Scotty Rogers weigh if he weighs 265 pounds?
122.
It should be higher. Isn't it 2.2? What was your conversion chart? Go again.
I don't think he gave us a
I was a
conversion
history
chart.
major. I'm from Hilliard. I ain't
265
gonna be able to figure
pounds.
this out.
How many kilograms? 122?
122.
Anyone else? Any other
1.2
guesses?
pounds.
124, 125?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anybody else?
Ish. It's like 2.2. It's like
$1. All right. Well, actually, no, it was closer. At 120.2 kilograms, that's what Scotty Rogers weighs.
Mm.
All right. Do we have time for one more?
One more. Last one.
Do you want the Dan Groot or the Marcus Holman question?
Oh, I like both guys so much. Let's go with Groot.
Grooter, here we go.
We talk about offensive guys all the time.
Yeah. Okay, what happened first? The birth of Dan Groot or
87.
look over my shoulder.
I can't read.
Or Mike Tyson becomes the youngest heavyweight boxing champion.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Groot, 6'2", 87.
Groot was born 1987 in June, and Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champ in 1986.
Yep, right.
So,
Absolutely.
there you
Mike. Iron Mike.
Asked
I
me
guess-
things when I was alive, and I seem to get them.
The Marcus Holman question, we'll have to wait.
Until next time.
Yeah, it's a good one, though. It's real good.
Dom, thanks so much for taking time out of the Wilmington day to stop by.
Thanks, guys.
Coach, thanks
Anytime.
for getting out of your office to do this.
Took me 20 seconds. It's good.
For Dom Marzano, Coach Bear Davis, I'm Noah Sharfman. Thanks for watching.